Today's live is called Life in Devotion to Miracles, Guided and Willed by the Holy Spirit. I'm going to start this live with a sacred prayer to get the transmission going. If you just want to close down your eyes, inviting the Holy Spirit to be in this moment. Highest Creator, Heavenly Holy Spirit, allow your message to channel through me today so that I can be the most clear channel at this time. Allow me to anchor in the miracles, the love, the truth, the wisdom of you, of your plan, of your guidance. I ask that those that are meant to receive this message, those that are meant to be here on the live, that they receive a miracle, a blessing, a gift of your love, of remembrance and awakening, so that we can all come together in the one awakening mind and clear out the ego, the suffering, the pain that we all experience here. May this video be a miracle and a blessing. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do because you will guide me and direct me perfectly. So this live is called Life in Devotion to Miracles, and I wanted to share about my journey with A Course in Miracles and living a life devoted to miracles and having a miracle day and what that actually means. And it's all about living your life in devotion to Spirit and how you can be guided by Spirit every single day. And that actually takes all the pressure off of you, your individual self, so that you can be guided towards the miracles or towards the miracle-minded thoughts, which are always coming from the Holy Spirit. So with A Course in Miracles, I've been able to shift so much in my perception to really come into alignment with the Holy Spirit and how the Holy Spirit is guiding me. And I was just living in Costa Rica for 2 years, and now I'm currently in Chicago. And I'm amazed at how much peace I can feel now here in Chicago because of handing my life over to the Holy Spirit and watching miracles unfold in my life by just giving my life over to God and over to the Holy Spirit, and also really devoting my life and my path to studying A Course in Miracles. And my intention in sharing this is that it inspires others to share and to find within them, because we're all one, to find within them a life more devoted to Spirit over the ego mind, which is the separation and the duality that we see here in this dream of separation. So this video will be all based upon the pure non-dualism teachings of A Course in Miracles, and just how that you can bring in these teachings to have a miracle day. And in the simplest way that you can have a day full of miracles is making the Holy Spirit your teacher, making the Holy Spirit your guide, your sense of purpose, your sense of hearing very clearly. And that's what I teach in Akashic Angel Academy and Miracle Worker Academy, is that when you hand your life over to something higher and greater, the Holy Spirit, then you're led in your life, and you don't have to put so much pressure on yourself every single day because you're being guided, you're being led by something higher and greater. So you don't have to force and push and stress so much, because you know that the Holy Spirit has a higher plan for you in your life and how that's going to look. And we can change the dimensions of time based on our level of awareness, based on our level of forgiveness. So the more that we hand it over to the Holy Spirit, the more that we'll have a day full of miracles, because we're in alignment with Spirit and we're in alignment with God and Source, so that we can actually have a more joyous and peaceful day. So I was born in Chicago, and I used to complain about being here for so many years, and I feel the Holy Spirit has brought me here at this time right now to practice everything that I've learned within the Course of Miracles and see that it is not what we do in the world or where we go in the world, it's what we carry in our spirit. And this is something that I've been able to really deeply understand and embody because I've been practicing what A Course in Miracles is teaching. I have been devoting my life to listening to the Holy Spirit and listening to how the Holy Spirit is moving and guiding me in my life. And it's much different than what my ego would have wanted or what my ego would have interpreted for me, because most of my life I was living by the ego until I came into A Course in Miracles and started to really see the illusion of this realm, the illusion of time and space, and how most of what we've been taught is completely the opposite of what is the highest truth. And my prayer is that when I come on these lives, or I share my posts or my channelings or my offerings or my mentorships, that I can inspire others to come into a life in alignment with Spirit, and that actually gives you everything. And what A Course in Miracles teaches is that we think that all of these things in the world, like getting money or living in our most beautiful big house and having the most thriving business, is what's going to bring us true and lasting happiness. But actually, our true happiness can only come from our connection to God and our connection to the Holy Spirit. Because everything in the physical world, we can't take that with us to heaven. So the more that we can build this connection and build this relationship, then we have more freedom actually, because we are rooted and anchored in something higher and greater, and we know what we experience here is just an experience. And who we truly are is actually pure eternal spirit. And we identify so much with our body, our name, our identity, and we put so much importance in that. But actually, we're so much beyond what you can even conceive. And we have been programmed to just believe that we're just these small selves. But through my studying with the Course in Miracles, I can see that the opposite is true. It looks like the universe is outside of us, but actually it's all coming from the projection of the mind. It's coming from the one separation idea that comes from the unconscious belief of being separated from God. So what A Course in Miracles actually is teaching is the more that we can undo that belief in separation, the more that we can live a true and everlasting life of peace and happiness, no matter what really happens in our life. And I'm amazed by how the Holy Spirit is working, because many things that used to upset me or trigger me, they don't affect me in the same way anymore, because I don't allow the external, the physical realm to affect my internal peace. There's something called the hero's journey, which I had written about when I was making the journey to Costa Rica to Chicago, and it's about overcoming the physical reality, overcoming the physical realm, because if we put all of our importance on the physical and on the external, we will end up disappointed, because in the realm of duality, there's always, the only thing constant here is change. And so when we're putting all of our importance on the external, we're building our rock on sand. And that's why in A Course in Miracles it talks about building your rock on God, because that is everlasting and that is eternal. And that is the greatest gift that we can experience, is remembering our oneness with God and remembering our true home in heaven. Because then you get to live your life in knowing of where you truly come from and what is the true purpose of life, which really is forgiveness and being a clear communication device for the Holy Spirit. But many people think that who they are as their ego or their job or their identity is what brings them happiness, or what brings them worthiness, or what brings them fulfillment. But actually your fulfillment is when you are so connected to spirit and so connected to everything and everyone because you know all is one. That's the path of pure non-dualism. And pure non-dualism says that God is nothing else. So anything outside of God is just another separation idea. And so everything that we see in the physical world is a separation idea. It's a way that we can remember that we're all equal. So the ego wants a winner, it wants a loser. It wants us to believe in the separation, that the separation from God actually really happened. And that's not the case. This is really a dream of separation that comes from the mind. And it's an experience. We are experiencing it here. So when we have things like sickness or mental illness or things of this nature, this can all be healed at the level of the mind, because the mind can heal the body, but the body can't heal the mind. So when you're working at the level of spirit, as you do A Course in Miracles, you're undoing the ego enough so you can hear that voice of spirit. So then you're just solely a communication device for the Holy Spirit, and you would be inspired to do certain things rather than forcing and pushing things that aren't really for your highest good. And the more that we clear out of our mind, the more that we can bring in the connection to the oneness, because that oneness is the greatest gift that we have. And the ego likes specialness, so it likes to be better, it likes to think it's more important, and this is how people feel bad or guilty or shameful about themselves, because they think that someone else is better than them or someone has something that they don't. And that's what I teach in my academy, is that we are all the same. I'm no better than you. I'm no more connected than you. It's just that we all have to come to a point where we're so ready to undo those blocks and barriers, because those ego thoughts or that ego separation has created so much suffering. And I've watched A Course in Miracles make radical miracles in my life. The fact that I'm able to be here in Chicago and be at peace is truly a miracle. And that's how I realized that it doesn't matter where you go in the world, it's what you carry in your spirit. So this is the most important message I have today, is if you're suffering or you're experiencing pain, I really invite you to hand it over to the Holy Spirit, hand it over to God, and really allow yourself to be guided and allow yourself to know that what you are experiencing is just an opportunity for you to lean that much more on spirit. It's just an opportunity for you to really find that faith, find that harmony, find that trust in the highest. And that faith is actually what creates the miracles. That faith is actually allows you to trust so fully in the higher plan. And so I have some notes here I wanted to share. Forgiveness is the only truth in the world, because forgiveness is what actually brings us into oneness, because we're forgiving at the level of the mind. And anything that we hold, any guilt, shame, fear, resentment that we hold towards another, we're just holding that towards ourselves. So when we start working with the Holy Spirit, we can really see how we are all one, and we are all one awakening mind. So when you can see your brothers and sisters as a part of you, you have more patience, you have more compassion, and you might think that somebody else outside of you is crazy, but actually what you're really seeing is that the separation from God is crazy. The separation from God, the unconscious belief in separation from God, is our only true problem here. That's what A Course in Miracles says. It says that the only problem that we have here, even if it's coming into financial issues, relationship issues, sickness, illness, pain, that pain is always coming from the belief in separation from God. And when you merge that gap fully, there's no room to second guess. There's no room to have lack. There's no room to have doubt or insecurity, because you're being filled by the grace of God. You're being filled by the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit can see beyond what our limited perception can see, because we are seeing this realm from a very limited perspective, because we have our five senses, and those actually limit us from seeing the full truth. And that's what we have to practice within the mind, of how to really hear the voice of Spirit and the Holy Spirit, and giving our life over to that. And that actually gives us everything. And when you're fully connected to the Holy Spirit, you have a way of living a life more in alignment, because the chaos of the ego, or the pain of the ego, it doesn't have as much hold on you anymore, because you can see it and you can look at it and you can choose again. That's what it says in A Course in Miracles as the holy instant. You can switch from choosing the ego or choosing the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit will always bring you more peace. It'll bring you more joy. It'll bring you more fulfillment. And that's what will bring you a miracle day. A miracle day happens when you are fully handing it over. And when you hand it over, you're placing your day, your life in something higher and greater. So that way, no matter what happens in that day, you are not doing it alone. You're doing it with the Holy Spirit. And with the Holy Spirit, it's beyond words. There's a sense of peace that happens that's otherworldly. And that's the promise of Christ. And that Christ's light is in all of us. So that's really the message I had to share today, of how to have a miracle day. Choose the miracle. Choose the Holy Spirit. And this path is all about pure non-dualism. So the pure non-dualism path is a radical path. And it's actually saying the opposite of what New Age is saying. Like that you could just manifest your whole life and then you're going to be happy. That's not really the case. You have to go to the cause. And the cause is the belief in separation from God. So no matter what happens, you want to merge that gap, because you could be getting all of these things in the world, but if you still feel that separation from God or that separation from Spirit, those things are going to be nice for a little while, but you're not getting to the root cause of all pain and suffering, which is the belief in separation from God. And so once you merge that gap, you get to start seeing your life and everyone around you for who they truly are, as pure spirit. And when you can see that, that's when you have true perception. And projection makes perception. That's what A Course in Miracles says, is projection makes perception. So when you can shift your perspective and your perception on the Holy Spirit will help you see things in a higher perspective. It'll help you be more accepting and be more at peace for where it's moving you, because you don't have to do it all alone anymore. You know, people think they need to live their whole life just doing it all on their own, but they're completely cutting out the most important thing in their life, which is your relationship to God and your relationship to the Holy Spirit. So let's see. Yeah, if you're feeling like tired or fatigued, it says in A Course in Miracles, that's because you're trying to do it all on your own. So when you're living a life in devotion to the miracles and in devotion to the Holy Spirit, you're not doing it on your own. You're being filled with Spirit. You're giving with Spirit. You're walking with Spirit. And that actually is what fills you and gives you incredible amounts of love and peace and energy that allows you to be a miracle worker. And the way that Christ was able to perform instantaneous miracles was because he did not believe in the separation from God. So that would mean that he would not believe in the sickness and he would not believe in the pain. So he was able to clear it completely. And that's really what the Course in Miracles is teaching. It's how to fully awaken to God and to heaven, oneness awareness, so that you can merge that gap. You can fully awaken and merge that gap and actually be a clear channel for the Holy Spirit. And then you're doing everything that you actually came here to do in this life, because your life isn't devoted to the ego, it's devoted to the Spirit. And many people will say, oh, the ego isn't bad, or the ego make your ego your friend. But if they're saying that, they actually don't really understand what the ego is. So you want to undo the ego. The undoing of the ego is a process. It's not like an event that just happens. It's a process that you do every single day over time. And that's why A Course in Miracles is so powerful, because it gives you the exact proper practices and tools that you would be able to use every single day to really be able to hear the voice of Spirit, because you're undoing that ego mind. And the most clear channels, the most clear psychics and intuitives, they are the ones that have undone enough of their ego mind so they can shift out of their own personality, and they can hear the voice of Spirit very clearly. And so I've been giving sessions for now almost 8 years, and I can honestly say now, with studying A Course in Miracles the last year, it'll be a year in March, that I feel the most clear channel ever now, because joining fully with the Holy Spirit. So this video is to inspire you into that you can shift your day, you can shift your moment based on what you carry in your mind and in the Spirit. And you can always say, help me, Holy Spirit, help me to see this through your eyes. Holy Spirit, help me to perceive this with you. Help me to know what your plan is for me, because maybe I can't see everything just yet. So that's basically the message for today. And I'm going to be doing more videos like this about A Course in Miracles, because of how much A Course in Miracles has impacted my life. I've done basically the whole spiritual buffet, and I can honestly say that A Course in Miracles is my chosen path in walking with the Holy Spirit, and it has been placed on my path to share about it and to join in the one awakening mind and really bring awareness to that. So if this video touched your heart, or you are watching the replay, I'm offering my Akashic Angel Academy self-paced study course for 70% off right now. And this is a way to start to connect with the Holy Spirit, start to connect with your channel, and start to learn how to open up and how to strengthen so you can actually hear the voice of Spirit. So if this is something that you would be interested in, you can send me a message. And I also have one-on-one mentorships for A Course in Miracles. I have one going on right now, and it's been my favorite mentorship. Those are for 6 months. And I also do single sessions. And you can click the link in my bio, or you can schedule to book with me through my Instagram. And we also have just started my YouTube, which is Miracle Angel Mia.